This episode of Horror Movie Talk is brought to you by the Val and Earl Hired Hand and Handyman Services Co. Got a septic tank that needs pumping? We got you. How about a fence that needs a good mend? We got you there too. How about a new species of subterranean man-eating worms that can spawn 5 sequels of descending quality? We got you there too. Val and Earl Hired Hand and Handyman Services Co. We got you, no matter what.
Hello and welcome to Horror Movie Talk.
An opinionated and accidentally funny horror movie review show. Go, 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 go.
Just took a stroll through the scraggly woods. He had no face! Horror!
Sabrina, don't just stare at it, eat it. New theatrical releases always get priority.
But we also review older horror movies, both good and horrible.
Wow, that didn't sound good.
What's up? Hey guys, hello and welcome to Horror Movie Talk.
Timely reference.
Yeah, how old is that? It's got to be.
That's pre-2000, isn't it?
Yeah, probably around there. Welcome to Horror Movie Talk.
90s kids will remember.
90s kids got this one. I am David Day, Professor David Day, the foremost expert in scare no-nos, and across from me sits Dr. Bryce Hansen, who holds a PhD in spookology. You guys, we got a great show for you today. I'm super excited, but first, we're going to be talking about our website, horrormovietalk.com. From there, you can click on over to any of our social media, LinkedIn, the Gram,
and our merch store.
Twitter. We have a merch store now. We got a bunch of stickers on there. We have some shirts in the that are getting ready to be produced and then sold on the merch store. So, but don't hold your breath on those stickers. Buy those stickers because they fund the purchase of the shirts. So one feeds the other, and actually they're pretty sweet. We got a couple stickers of our new logo, some of our old logo, and a few of the art from past episodes. So make sure you check that out on our website at horrormovietalk.com. We do post new episodes every single Wednesday, so make sure you subscribe to us and leave a rating on Apple Podcasts. I know we harp on you about that, but there's a good reason, because it helps us grow, and Rotten Tomatoes, etc.
Yeah, if you are on an iPhone right now listening to us, just do it now.
Just do it.
Just do it right now.
Just do it, because, It'll help us out a whole lot. We have a great show today. Today we're going to be talking about, of course, the 1990 classic Tremors.
I'm quaking in my boots.
Uh-oh. That's a little earthquake pun for you.
Yeah.
So today we'll be talking about Tremors, and we'll start out by giving a brief review and our score for the movie. We score on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being a miserable dredge where it makes you angry that you had to sit through it, 5 being an average enough film that hits all the expected marks, and 10 being so good that it transcends genre boundaries. After we give our score, we'll get into spoilers and take a deeper dive into what we liked and hated about the film. And later, we will be doing 2 bits. We'll be doing a new game called Baconator. And which is
unrelated to 6 Degrees of Kevin Bacon.
It's surprisingly similar to 6 Degrees of 6 Degrees of Separation from Kevin Bacon. And then also, of course, it came from social media. What do you got in your throat there, guy? What's going on? You got a dick in your mouth? Yeah, he has a dick in his mouth.
It's morning.
He nodded.
Give me a break.
Yeah, and then, of course, we'll be doing It Came From Social Media. Bryce, what's this horrible thing I have on my body? What's this shirt? What's it say? Can you describe first? All right. Can you describe
the full effect is it's got Macho Man. No, wait.
Yeah.
Is it Macho Man Randy Savage?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And around him are the words, "the cream of the crop." And
the cream of the crop, baby. Oh, yeah.
And he's got one of those little cups of cream that you put in your coffee.
Ooh, baby.
That is a legendary clip.
'Cause I'm the cream of the crop.
He produced what was it, 6 of those things?
What?
Like while he's giving his rant on being the cream of the crop, he's
yeah, where he just keeps popping them out of nowhere.
Right.
Like I think they were in his sweatband, know, his wrist sweatband.
Yeah,
and he just go. Ooh. Now, I have this is just a quick aside. We're gonna get to Tremors here very shortly, but I had to shame myself today by wearing this kind of retarded shirt. Because no one in
that's not appropriate to say. We say
we don't talk about Macho Man that way.
No, it's kind of disabled.
Oh, whoa! Wow.
No, wait, that's not right. That's it's kind of handicapable. I don't know.
Oof.
I don't know what the
you just digging yourself a deeper hole.
Keep going.
Well, the thing is, I have a weakness. I don't have many weaknesses in terms of when I drink. It's hard sometimes. I keep it together pretty well. It's just as soon as I get a couple in me, I go and I buy a funny, goofy shirt or a band shirt or something. And this is the most unwearable one I've ever bought.
That can't be true.
To me.
I would wear that shirt.
To me, this is. You see what I mean? I mean, it just says I don't know. This is just so weirdly embarrassing. So I had to shame myself by coming on the show.
What the tree
motif.
Yeah,
it's like him in front of a sunset, in front of tree. I don't know. It's meant to make you feel good about I don't know, maybe
cream of the crap.
Pacific Northwesty. Anyway, we watched Tremors, and I have to say that look, if anybody else buys ridiculous shirts when they're drunk, is this a feature that's only known to me, or is this everybody? Does everybody make these ridiculous
drunk purchases?
Drunk purchases?
I'm pretty sure that's a thing.
Okay, good. Yeah, good. We watched Tremors, and I have to say that this may be the epitome of a made-for-TV movie feeling movie. I've seen it 20 times, and I'll see it 20 more times during my life, and that's a good thing. This was a Patreon pick, so every month a certain tier of Patreon members get to choose a movie for us to review.
Or vote on it.
They vote on a movie for us to review, and this, or last month, June's pick was Tremors by a landslide. They just... And I get why. Mm-hmm. So if you want to pick, be part of the voting, what movie we review, we do one Patreon selection per month, and you can just head on over to our Patreon at patreon.com/horrormovietalk to check that out. So without further ado, let's get into the trailer.
Perfection. A scorched outpost in the middle of nowhere.
You know how close I am to leaving this place right now? How close?
Maybe that's why Val and Earl decided to leave town.
Hey, hold up. That's Edgar Deans.
They just picked the wrong day to do it.
Jeez. You guys better get the hell out of here. There's a killer on the loose. Who could be doing it?
Is that a snake?
I'll give you boys $5 for this. 20. That's how they get you. They're under the ground.
What the hell are those things? How could they eat a whole station wagon?
But where do they come from?
I vote for outer space. No way these are local boys.
You see, they're headed right for us.
No Richter scale can measure it.
They're coming!
No scientist can explain it.
Bert, they're under the ground.
You didn't get penetration even with the elephant gun.
Run, run!
And no one knows what to call it.
Mega worms or suckers or suckoids.
Now, this valley is just one long smorgasbord.
Now, It's up to Val and Earl to save the world.
That's one big mother.
Who died and made you Einstein?
And they know just what to do. Flip for it.
Damn.
Kevin Bacon, Fred Ward. Tremors.
Tremors follows Val, played by Kevin Bacon, obviously, and Earl, played by Fred Ward, in their attempt to leave Paradise Valley, Nevada, while doing odd jobs and handyman work. As they make their way up and down the valley between odd jobs and quirky small-town characters, they begin to notice a string of seemingly related ground-level killings. Upon meeting up with a grad student, Rhonda, played by Finn Carter, who is doing some important, if timely, seismic research, they learn that there are a bunch of little earthquakes, or tremors, happening all over the valley. Before they jump the gun on declaring that there is a 100-foot-tall, 200-ton serial killer on the loose, they find evidence of a subterranean suspect. A worm of sorts. The rest of the movie is spent running for their lives from an unlikely, if terrifying, phenomena with a ton of quirky townsfolk.
Yeah, this is probably one of the best examples of a monster movie and how you can do it effectively even like in modern times.
Yes, that's very accurate.
It's very like, man, I didn't realize how. Did you hear that in my throat?
Yeah, it was sexy. Yeah, it was the tremor within.
It's the tremor within. That's another movie done by anyways. So it alarmed me how much it reminded me of Jaws.
Right. I talk about that throughout my entire review.
Yeah.
Like this movie is Jaws turned into a sitcom.
Yeah, it's like Jaws in the desert.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's fucking fat, even down to the cover art on the
right.
the poster.
Yeah.
The poster is an exact ripoff of Jaws.
Yeah.
It's precisely a perfect
right.
ripoff.
Before we get too far into this, I watched this with Erin. And she revealed
that's your wife.
Yeah, that's my
and
wife.
She is not a horror fan.
She revealed to me that she's never seen Tremors.
Blows me away.
Which is the most astounding thing I've ever heard. She's only a year younger than me. And I've seen it, same as you, probably 20 plus times.
Yeah, just over and over and over.
Either on cable or on VHS.
Yeah.
Or like my family loved this movie.
Oh,
it's one of my mom's favorite movies.
Yeah, universally loved it. Yeah, same here. My mom would be like, "Oh, Tremors," and my mom is just like disapproves of every fun thing,
right.
So,
and now that I think of it, it probably has a lot to do with Kevin Bacon because she was pretty into Kevin Bacon.
Yeah, Carrie said the same thing. She's like, "I've always had a thing for Kevin Bacon. It's not necessarily that he's supremely attractive, but he feels like a dependable, nice guy." Right. And she was like, I think he's been married to blah, blah, blah for 25 or 30 years. I was like, yeah, I think he has.
Yeah, I think that's right. What's her name? Felicity Huffman?
Is that who it is? Yeah, Huffman. Yeah, I think that's who it is. Anyway, so my review of Tremors is Tremors by director Ron Underwood. By the way, the best movie Ron Underwood has ever done. Is one heck of a solid movie. It's basically a monster movie, but...
No, it's Kara Sedgwick.
Kira Sedgwick.
Felicity Huffman, I think, is married to...
Depp?
The little...
Rick Moranis?
No, but close.
Oh.
It's not Philip Seymour Hoffman, but it's a three-name guy that's in P.T. Anderson movies.
Oof. I think I know who you're talking... The guy who looks like Rick Moranis.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
God damn it. Why can't I... Anyways, move on. It'll come to me.
Yeah, so this is one heck of a solid movie. It's basically a monster movie, but to be honest with you, and stick with me here, Bryce, it feels a bit more like an action thriller to me because of all the action and adventure that takes place. It's a really adventurous movie.
William H. Macy,
thank you. Along with lots of changes of scenery and methods. This movie is constantly kind of switching up the Swiss Army knife of fun things that you can do with the ground.
one of the amazing things that this movie does real well is, God damn it, can you hear that in my throat?
Yeah, you're just gurgling. Yeah, you got the tremors.
Oh no, everything was fine until he got the tremors.
Damn.
It's not funny. My dad has tremors. But the two things that this movie does very effectively is, one, ramp it up. Like, it starts out like at 0, and it stepwise motion up of the tension and like the stakes.
Worried.
Yeah, it's really impressive how it does. And then the second thing it does really well is it ties everything up in a nice bow.
There is no loose ends. There are no things mentioned that aren't either discounted or followed up on.
It's amazing for like movies in the last decade, how much it relies on sensory overload to get you to not ask questions about the plot.
Fast cuts. Cut.
If you watch, like, I mean, I like them, but if you watch the recent Star Wars movies and you think about, well, why did they do that?
There's no reason.
Like, there's no real reason other than, well, there was an action sequence plan and they needed to be there at that moment.
Right.
And this isn't that. Everything made sense.
Right. The formula is being good.
Yeah.
It's not just being a formula. It's not action, drama, action, sadness, action, happiness. You know, it's not that. It's a good script.
The people slowly learn more about the danger, and the danger gets higher.
Yeah, Tremors is a nearly perfect movie in terms of its script, who we have S.S. Wilson and Brent Maddock to thank for. Everything that is said or mentioned is followed up on or ruled out at some point in the movie. Almost nothing extraneous or unneeded is ever mentioned, and all the characters play a wonderful role in making Paradise Valley a believable place. Maybe the best part of Tremors is its intense focus on the characters instead of the monster. Sure, we get to see the monster, but the focus of every scene is on the characters and getting the audience to empathize with them. This forces a pivot in the otherwise fucked out monster movie paradigm. It's why Jaws was great, and it's probably no coincidence that this is essentially a Jaws remake, even down to the movie poster, like we said before. It's terrifically ironic that a movie that focused so much on the characters instead of the monster spawns 5 completely monster-focused sequels that lack most of the charm of the first, with the exception of the second movie, Tremors 2 Aftershocks, which I'm about halfway through right now. Many horror skeptics will say that this movie is not a true horror movie, noting the goofy, fun, and light ambiance. But I beg to differ.
No, this is definitely a horror movie. This is one of those where it's such a weird stance to take.
It is. It's exclusionary and holier than thou, and it's fucking weird.
The monster movie is the original horror movie.
Right. Godzilla. Or Frankenstein.
Or Dracula.
Mummy.
Or the Wolfman. Like, every Universal horror film is a monster.
The Invisible Man. Yeah.
So it's a quintessential monster movie. And so just the fact that it's fun and it's like still is family friendly.
Yes.
Is crazy.
And this is that's exactly my point. I beg to differ with these people who say that Tremors is not a horror movie. Not only is Tremors definitely a horror movie, it's the most important kind of horror movie. It's entry level horror. This is the stuff that I watched as a kid, and it sent me scrambling for the rocks. It hooked my pint-sized imagination and lit up every corner, making me wonder if it really was safe to play tag on the playground, or if I should seek the higher ground on the on the slide or something like that. Tremors.
There must have been a lot of playgrounds that were playing Tremors.
Oh my God! Yeah, the floor is lava.
Yeah.
You know. No relation to the terrible Netflix show.
If we were going to do taglines, that was going to be one of my tagline. Tremors. The floor is lava. The movie.
Yeah, no, that's very accurate. It's a fun game to play just generally, and man, it as a little kid, this is light enough that it's not going to destroy your psyche, but it's scary enough that it's gonna stick with you and make you really curious about that next movie. And it's good. It's important to have these entry level horror movies, and there aren't many.
Yeah, that's an important point to make, because this movie very obviously made efforts to be a PG-13 movie.
Yeah.
Because
I was not to cuss.
I was watching it and I was like, is this the TV edit?
Yeah.
But then I realized, like, no, that was
very intentional.
That was the original cut. They were just trying to cut out a fuck.
Yeah.
So that they could get a PG-13 rating. And it's a good example of, like, you don't need to have an R rating. Like, this is accessible. You don't need more gore.
Right.
For it to be scary. And yeah, there's no benefit to having 2 extra fucks.
No.
But yeah, I mean, it's it does kind of take out of you when Kevin Bacon is yelling on the top of the roof, "Get away from those mother humpers."
From those mother humpers. We got another mother humper. Copy. Yeah, it's a little goofy, but Tremors is interesting, has wonderful tension, and is most importantly fun, as fun as any movie you will ever watch. On score, I've been flip-flopping in my head ever since I wrote this down. I'm not sure that I'm going to go with an 8. Because it's no Citizen Kane. And that's a 10.
Yeah,
and it's also no. It's just a very solid foundational movie. It's not spectacular.
Yeah.
But it's really good, and I'd say that lands at about an 8.
Yeah, I'm trying to account for the nostalgia pixie dust that I feel about this movie. And it was good watching it with Aaron, because I could kind of, when you watch a movie with someone else, you kind of see it again through their eyes.
Yeah.
Like, oh, they probably think this of it. It's like when you watch a movie that you really like, and then you watch it with your parents, and all of a sudden you realize there's like 3 sex scenes.
Yeah.
You're like, oh God. Oh no.
Dear. Oh
no.
Oh dear.
It's a different experience. So watching it with Aaron in the room, I was like, yeah, it's not fantastic. Like, it's not like, well, I don't know. It's not, if I was to see it the first time, I'd be hit by kind of the production quality. It's not bad, but it's 90s.
Yeah.
Like, not big budget.
Right. It's bigger budget than Pumpkinhead.
Yeah, it's middle of the road budget.
It's like Jaws. It feels like Jaws budget.
Yeah. So, and it's a little hokey. It's really fun, but if you saw it the first time, you wouldn't take it seriously. But to me, it's like, this is a tentpole movie in my conception of movies. Of like, yeah, Tremors is formative.
To me, it sits in the same place as Gremlins.
Yeah.
Which is,
a
tentpole, and this movie was not successful in theaters. I mean, it was $11 million to make. It made an additional $5 million. It made $5 million in profit. But where it really blew up was syndication on cable.
Right.
And man, I mean, like we've been talking about, you could not flip the channel without landing on Tremors. Yeah. And every time I'd sit there and watch it. Every time.
So that being said, I still think it's pretty much a perfect movie. Like, in terms of like what a movie is trying to be and what it can deliver if you put thought into it. It's pretty much near perfect. There are some slight flaws in it.
The soundtrack is pretty goofy.
Yeah, there's some slight flaws, and so that brings it down 1 notch for me. I'm going to give it a 9.
I'd say that's totally fair.
Yeah.
I'd say that's totally fair. I don't think it... if you said 10, I would have to disagree with you.
Yeah, I feel like that's kind of a good place, because if you have...
it's not fucking Citizen Kane.
Yeah, if you have a perfect movie...
And it's not Jaws.
But if you took it away, for all time. Like, it's not like the lexicon of cinema would be harmed without Tremors. But if you like movies, like, Tremors is great.
It really is. It's a spectacular movie, and I think everyone should watch it. So there you have it, an 8 and a 9. So with that, I do have an emergency alert. Horror Movie Talk reviews new movies, and that means we rely heavily on theaters. Our favorite theaters are the small, privately owned ones in our community, and during this corona shutdown, all of these theaters are in serious jeopardy. So we would just like to remind you to help out your local theaters. Go to their box office or their website, spend some buckage on on some, what do you call them, gift cards, and help them stay afloat, because it would be very sad if you couldn't go back to them in a month or two here, where it looks like everybody's going to maybe kind of open back up.
Well, I know
knock on wood.
Regal sent me out an email saying that they're going to plan on opening in July 11th.
Yeah, baby.
And so theaters are going to start opening up, and if you want to go to the movies, go to a local one. Because number one, like, they're still going to be struggling because there's limitations on audience size. And honestly, for a lot of these local theaters, they're not usually filled to capacity unless it's a, like, premiere.
Yeah.
So, yeah, you'll be safer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, with that, we have a lot of new patron members to thank. If you guys want to support the show, you can do so, as I said before, by going to patreon.com/horrormovietalk or our website, horrormovietalk.com. And at the top banner, you'll see a button that says Become a Patron. And all of our new patrons...
Hold on. I think we got some of these already.
No, I'm 100% sure that I'm good on this.
Okay.
Because Henry... was last week, and that was a pre-recorded episode, and we were unable to get to a lot of them. So, without further ado, thank you so much to Jonathan A., Walter R., Elena B., Kyle S., Nathaniel W., Kylo Bren, also known as Kylie Bean, and Riot Punch, who came in just under the bar this morning, who probably had some Riot juice. This is one of the few times that it's acceptable to be shirtless, and I won't be cold because I'll be blasted on grain alcohol. I won't be cold because I'll be blasted on grain alcohol. Riot Punch, if I'm correct, Riot Punch is a reference to the Always Sunny in Philadelphia episode where they're going to a Eagles game and they're drinking grain alcohol and they're getting ready to riot punch.
Okay. Thank you, all of you, for joining our Patreon. I hope you enjoy the extra content.
Yeah. And if you would like to become a Patreon member, there are plenty of perks, including a whole other podcast called The Afterpod, where we leave the mics rolling following this episode, and we talk about, whose pictures we jerked off to and all that kind of stuff. Also, check out localasfuckapparel.com. That's localasfuckapparel.com. This is an apparel company that will be helping us out with printing our shirts. But until that happens, they are just about as local as you can get. They're based out of our hometown of Vancouver, Washington, and they're going to be handling the production of our HM t-shirts, like I said, from now on. They have a ton of really great looking apparel, and a lot of it is branded as just local as fuck. So they have shirts that say local as fuck, and I love it. I'm gonna be getting a few. They even have some like motocross jerseys. So check them out. If you enter HMT at checkout, you get a discount code. You get a discount of 10% off your entire order. So, rep your local as fuckness at your convenience. Mm-hmm. Also, Shudder. If you head on over to Shudder, and which is a horror movie streaming platform, and enter HMT at checkout, you can get 30 free days of streaming horror. And Henry, Portrait of a Serial Killer, is still on there, which we reviewed last week, which is miraculous because we pre-recorded that like 8 months ago.
Probably more than that. It's probably getting to a year almost.
I think it was in September or October. It was a while ago, in any event.
Yeah.
So check out Shudder, and also you can support the podcast by buying or renting any movie or product on Amazon if you click through the green button in the header of our website when you're getting kitty litter or toilet paper or other poop-oriented things delivered to you. Finally, make sure you check out our resident artist, Dustin Goebel, who is a professional artist who fucks. Goddamn, there's no lube. He just fucks so hard. It's incredible.
Yeah, I mean, he was going to be in the porn industry, but all the directors just said this guy fucks too hard. Like it's
dangerous to the talent.
It's unacceptable.
Right, and there's too much friction.
Yeah,
and there's no way to account for it.
I mean, if we let Dustin fuck one of these girls, like, they'd be done.
Yeah.
Like, they couldn't do it anymore. They'd just be... Their vagine would be like a wizard's sleeve.
Yeah, it's like that movie Frankenhooker, but instead of the woman doing the hard fucking, it's Dustin.
Right.
Doing
the hard fucking. All right. Thank you, Dustin.
Yeah, so he takes commission for artwork from HMT fans. He's responsible for all the art on all of our posts, which is, if you haven't seen it, it's spectacular and you should check it out. Contact him at dgoebel00, that's at DGOEBEL00 on Instagram, and make your artistic dreams come true. Tell him HMT sent you. So, thanks again for listening, and let's get into spoilers. Spoiler. Okay, that's different. What is that?
The French. Try that. What? There we go. Spoilers.
Okay.
No, shut
up. So, first thing to talk about is Eric Andre's new stand-up special, Legalize Everything, which... Have you watched it yet?
I still got to watch the rest of it. I'll tell you what, the opening is like just, it's not funny.
Okay.
It's literally just him screaming.
First of all,
for the first 15 minutes. Once he gets to...
First of all, that does it for me just outright. I'm like, yay, wee! Like, he's like my spirit animal.
There's certain times where Eric Andre is perfect and no one can do what he does, and there's bits of his that I love, but 80% of it I'm just like, no.
Oh no, man, everything, so like, almost everything. There's like 5% of his stuff doesn't land for me. Everything else is the best. It's totally branded at me.
The first bit that's really good in it is the cops bit. And it's the bit that they show in the Netflix preview for it.
It gets better.
That is great.
It just keeps getting better and better and better. His crowd work is great. I love it. Anyway, if you guys haven't seen his new Netflix comedy or his stand-up, you got to check it out because it's fucking wonderful and I love it. Also, just Tremors related, you realize that there right now, I mean, so as we're recording this, there are 6 Tremors movies, all 6. Are available on Netflix right now. That's 1 through 6. Mm-hmm. And that's pretty incredible.
So they're probably leaving Netflix by the end of the month, you said.
I know I know this one that we're talking about. The day of release will be gone from Netflix. I don't know where it will be. But if you want to watch it, you can watch it on Amazon, and I have a link to it in the post for this episode. Anyway, so there's 6 Tremors, and in my opinion, the second one is pretty good too. I talked at great length with our blogger Keith Harris about what makes Tremors so good on my drive out to Montana to my grandfather's funeral, and he had lots of good things to say about the second one as well, and obviously the first one. We both remember being little kids who were just terrified by Tremors. Anyway, so this movie starts out kind of like a bad sitcom.
Yeah, it is a weird...
Or a really generic sitcom.
It's interesting the tone it sets.
Yeah.
Because Yeah, I mean, it's really fun throughout, but before you're introduced to the monsters, that funness is like, what? Like, what is this?
Yeah, why has it got this weird sitcom-y feel to it? Like,
almost like a little hint of cringe is baked into it.
Yeah. It's Earl is asleep, and Val, like, you know, wakes him up in like a rude, crude cowboy attitude kind of way.
Yeah.
And then they, like, you know, they do rock, paper, scissors to see who makes breakfast today. And it's just very... There's wholesome elements throughout this movie that will continue to occur.
This, for me, is the quintessential Kevin Bacon movie. I don't know about for you. Like, a lot of people, it's like Footloose...
which I have still never made it all the way through.
When I think of Kevin Bacon, I think of this movie.
Same. Yeah, 100%.
And then when I see him in other things, like, yeah, that's Kevin Bacon, and he's great.
Yeah,
like,
it's the guy from Tremors.
Kevin Bacon is a great actor.
He sure is. Yeah, he's versatile. He's the most unique looking dude ever.
He's got just so much charisma.
Yeah.
Just latent charisma. And it's not like overwhelming or anything. You're just like, wow.
It's like
I want to look at this person.
It's like he's the nice version of an 80s bully. Like caricature. You know? It's like he decided to go the good force path.
Yeah. Or it's like...
You know exactly what I'm talking about.
Or it's like Tom Cruise, half a foot taller and not a Scientologist.
Right. Yes. Well, not quite as good.
Not quite Tom Cruise, I guess.
Not quite as good looking.
Right.
But everyone knows what you just said. And they're going, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so then they get driving down the road to their first job, and they see someone kind of off in the distance, and they realize that's the new grad student who's out here doing seismology studies, and they get real excited because I think Val realizes that that's a girl. So here's a little clip from that particular spot.
That's supposed to be a girl.
You will have long blonde hair, big green eyes, world-class breasts, ass that won't quit, and legs that go all the way up.
I've utilized that quote incorrectly for years. Mm-hmm. And she's got legs that go all the way up. I love that. Mm-hmm. I love it. I say legs that go all the way down.
All the way down?
I love it. I love the idea of legs that go all the way down because it doesn't make any sense at all. Everybody that hears me go, God damn, look at that girl. She's got legs that go all the way down. And people are like, what the fuck does that mean?
I mean, I guess it makes just as much sense as all the way up.
All the way up. It's but at the same time, if you say that girl's got legs that go all the way up, you go, yeah, she got a lot of legs, I guess. Uh-huh. She must. You're like, that paints a picture in your mind.
Right. Yeah. Okay.
This is you realize this is like our second Kevin Bacon movie in like a month or so.
What was the other one?
Oh, come on. It was Friday the 13th.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yeah. And great in that, too.
Yeah, and he's got
his ass.
His old ding-a-ling flopping around in those 80s shorts.
Did you see like an outline or something?
It's very... I mean, I wasn't looking closely or anything.
Right, no, of course not. Right.
But yeah, it's along the lines of Sleepaway Camp, and a lot of dick outline is featured.
Teeny tiny little shorts.
Yeah.
Barely even have a right to be called shorts. Just to be called underwear.
Right.
Yeah. They're not even like, they don't compare to my boxers.
Right.
Reba McEntire's in this movie, which is every time it blows me away. I'm like, I don't know why it's so novel to me that Reba's in here.
Well, Reba had her own show for a while.
Oh, yeah. And it was like the Reba show or something.
Yeah, I think it was really successful, too.
It was like a Reba.
Yeah, Reba.
Aruba.
Aruba?
Yeah.
Aruba, Jamaica. Ooh, I want to take you.
Aruba.
Oh.
Oh, I see what you did. Oh, I'm sorry.
All right, thanks, David. That's the joke.
So this is kind of the spot where, you know, they go driving into town and we get to meet all the characters. We meet Reba McEntire, who's of course married to Bert, who Keith, our blogger, one of our bloggers, described as a highly armed Dale Gribble, which is very apropos, right? And by the way, Bert.
I mean, Dale Gribble must be heavily armed too, right?
I think Dale Gribble was based on
right.
Bert. And Bert was obviously based on a clear stereotype.
Yeah, there's a type.
Yeah.
There's a type, and you're probably related to some of them.
Me?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah, that's fair. I almost started taking offense. And
the way you've described your uncle was like, yeah.
Well.
Tell the story about your trolling your uncle.
Okay,
that's like one of the best stories.
Okay, so I have an uncle who, you know, everybody in my dad's family is hilariously quirky in different ways. So, this is in no way, shape, or form meant to single my uncle out particularly. It's just a funny story that happened that's very close to Bert from Tremors, which is, they were talking about something and my uncle said something to the effect of, yeah, well, when the apocalypse comes or when society crumbles or something to that effect of like a very Bert thing to say. My dad was like, oh yeah, okay, well, what do you got to, like you're going to do a whole lot better than any of us. And he's kind of like a prepper, and you know, so he said, well, yeah, you know, I got tons of, you know, I'm prepared, and including like money's going to be worthless in the far-flung apocalyptic future. So got gold, got silver, got it all, and it's all hidden away in a stash that no one can ever find. And my dad was like, oh yeah, where's that? And he's like, like, I'm going to tell you, then you'll just come over here and try and take all my stuff. My dad's like, well, I already know where it is. He's like, yeah, like, sure you do. Huh. Right. Like, you'd know. He's like, sure I do. You buried it under your barn. He's like, you buried it under the ground and over under your house and under the barn. And then the line gets real quiet. It's like, click. and then he calls, yeah, I gotta go. And then he calls him back like 10 or 15 minutes later, and he's like, we can't talk on this line or something like that. He's like, first of all, how did you know? And he's like, I was just joking with you, man. He's like, yeah, sure. And then it's like silence again. And yeah, so very cagey, very but prepared.
Yeah.
I would not approach that house with ill intent.
Yeah. Yeah. There's something weird about preppers, because it's a big part of the Mormon community as well. Like the whole thing where you're supposed to have
becoming less weird.
It's
becoming much. It's starting to make more sense to me now.
Well, yeah.
Like there are switches that are being flipped.
So having like a year's worth of food storage just in case, like that's a thing. I don't know if it's a year for most people, but it's a year for my for my mom.
That's incredible.
And it's funny because this is the exact circumstance in which that would be used.
Yeah.
Like
Tremors.
It's not necessarily that there's going to be like my mom's conception is there's going to be an earthquake. Every road will have a deep chasm cut into it so that I cannot escape my house.
In the unlikely event that my house wasn't also sucked into a chasm, I will be okay because I'll have food.
All the bridges are taken out, and the kids will need to come here and eat food. The reality of it is this is as likely of a scenario that you're going to use food storage, which is you should not leave your house if you don't need to. Like,
right.
So she's got a year's worth of food. And she's like,
time to go to the store.
Yeah, I gotta go Costco.
Yeah, I'm in the high risk group. What of it?
Yeah.
So we meet all of these super quirky characters. You have, let's see here. You have the shopkeep, who is, let's see here. I can't remember. That is Walter Chang, played by Victor Wong. I don't know why they didn't just use his regular name. Walter Chang, American first name, Chinese last name, but his real name is Victor Wong. So American first name, Chinese last. I don't know. It seems like it could have worked. By the way, he's in Gremlins.
Yeah. He's the shopkeep in Gremlins,
yeah,
right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
The Chinese shopkeep.
He's got that dead eye.
Yeah, that one dead eye.
Like a doll's eye.
And then so you have you also have you have the little girl from Jurassic Park.
Yeah.
I love every time I watch Tremors, I'm fucking astonished. I'm like, oh, I like somehow forget that she's in this movie as well.
It's a Unix system.
It's a Unix system. I know this. And so you just meet all these super quirky, fun little characters. And they're in town. While they're in town, they, of course, what are they doing in town? They're pumping a drain.
Oh yeah. Well, they're pumping the septic tank.
Yeah, they're pumping a septic tank, which brings us to...
Is ready. Morning ready.
Drain addict, who I cannot get enough of.
So if you're new to the podcast, you are right at the cusp of the transformation of Horror Movie Talk. Because it originally was a podcast about reviewing horror movies, but it's slowly going to change into a podcast talking exclusively about the YouTube channel Drain Addict.
Right. And for good reason. I'm proselytizing this man. Holy moly. That is a wide open drain, my friend. He's if you haven't seen this channel yet, you got to, because it is an Australian man and his little pet rat Ratty, who loves to eat corn that comes out of these sewage pipes, and they fight poop. They are poop fighters, and they attack the poop. They find the clogs and and
there's the blockage.
They find the blockages, and then they gauge how thick it is.
It's pretty thick.
and then at the end they unclog the drain, and they all have a great laugh. And
all good.
All good.
All good.
Thank you.
All good.
And this last one. So I think it's, what is it? What was it? 260 or 467?
Yeah. Yeah, 467. That's right.
And man, you were like, so right before I started watching it, you were like, have you seen the latest Drain Addict? And I was like, no, I'm about to, so we can talk about it on podcast tomorrow. And you're like, it's only 15 minutes long, but it's thick.
It's packed.
It's pretty packed. Ollie is my hero, and I need all of you to rampage against his channel on YouTube.
Not against,
to his channel, and tell him Horror Movie Talk sent you. We got to get this guy on the podcast.
There's a lot of goals that we could have on this podcast, like,
this is how we achieve those goals. Are you fucking kidding me? We get the Drain Addict on here? How couldn't we succeed after that? This is an obvious stepping stone step.
Here's a clip of the latest episode that I pulled, which is probably my favorite moment of it, which there are a couple really great moments, but this one is the absolute best. This is one of the... This is like a moment in the history of this channel.
Let me tee it up a little bit here. So he's got this fucking clogged up, and it is just pure shit. It is really...
I'll play this behind you while you describe it.
Yeah, it is really very, very thickly impacted doo-doo. And he just starts, he's always got this little orange glove. He's always got short sleeve shirt on. He's always got shorts on. In this case, he was wise because he had long waders on.
Yeah.
But
doesn't matter.
But he just reaches into this drain where there's a bunch of like dead snails. Strangely, there's always something in there. There's like a bunch of cockroaches, or in this case, there was a bunch of like dead snails indicating that something lived in this little alcove. But so he just starts scooping this thick milkshake of shit and just plopping it right next to his arm, and his arm keeps like raising the poop.
Yeah, just like imagine if you took an entire roll of toilet papers worth of toilet paper and like dunked it in water and then just like kind of squoze out all the water and then just hucked it at a wall.
Yeah.
That's about the consistency of what he's working with here.
Very thick. And it's actually...
It's pretty thick.
It's pretty thick. So...
We got to get that YMH clip, or the guy that YMH uses.
What is that?
Thick. White.
Thick. White. Ribbons of...
Yeah, anyways.
So as he's scooping it out with his hand, his arm keeps grazing this raw sewage. Just poop. Just people's poop. And
yeah, this is the contention of... Well, not the contention. This is the difference between me and David, is that David really focuses on the insanity of poop particles getting on this guy, that he just gives no fuck.
He does not care at all.
And for me, I'm like, yeah, it's probably not that big of a deal. Like, it's... Yeah, you get dirty, but you just don't touch your eyes and stuff, and you wash after you get back from work. But this is the exception. This would bother even me.
See, Bryce for a while was saying, this is what I got to do for my job. Like, he's like, I got to quit my job and do this.
Yeah, there's a very specific type of work that he does that if I could do just that, I'd be...
Unclogging thick drains.
Yeah, just like the municipal, like, manhole covered drains and shooting jets of water at it from a distance.
Just squirting water at poop.
Man, that'd be fantastic. Anyways, so he feeds this snake, into the pipe and turns on this pressurized water. And here we go.
Here's the clip.
Just squirt all over my leg.
Just squirted all over him.
Oh man, he just talked over the best part.
I'm sorry.
Shit, got it all over my leg.
So matter of fact. Shit, got it all over my leg.
He's just covered.
This is such an understatement.
Yeah,
like
he's covered in shit. It just blasted all over him.
It's like if you had like, the Jurassic Park Triceratops pile of poo.
Yeah.
If you had that just stacked against a wall and you turned a fire hose on it, like the splashback is what he just experienced. Anyway,
yeah, it was impressive.
So he had, if you can't hear what happened, was he had the hose in the pipe, and it's got this pressurized water, and then he's like pulling it back a little, or there's like a opening that happens that the spray just goes directly back into him, and there's just chunks of shit that fly like an explosion,
a shit sprinkler. Yeah, it's amazing.
Shit, got all over my leg. So
head on over to Drain Addict, let them know HMT sent you there, and hopefully we can get them on the podcast. So,
all right, so that's the episode.
So as the guys leave town, they're talking about Val and Earl are like, it's time to blow this popsicle stand. I'm tired of scooping shit out of people's septic tank in Paradise Valley, Nevada. They're driving away. They're on their way out. And what do they see? They see Edgar. That's Edgar. He's up a telephone pole. What's he doing up there? And they stop. They get out. They check to see, what's going on with Edgar. Well, he's dead. and he's got his gun up there with him, and they're like, well, he's kind of the town drunk, so this kind of makes sense, but he's got a gun, and it's concerning because this isn't something anyone in their right mind would do. But they take him to the local doctor, and the doctor's like, yeah, Edgar died of dehydration. So he just sat up there without water until
for like 3 or 4 days.
3 or 4 days until he died. So that's pretty incredible, right? So this is a little bit of a mystery starts, and then people start disappearing. Edgar is a little bit of an anomaly because he's up high. So what could have done this? But then the ground-based killings start. And you have the sheep farmer goes down. All his sheep are obviously concerned about the quake activity that's going on.
So they see this, and they're like, this must be... I think the sheep and the farmer were the first ones that they came across.
No, it was Edgar. Was it
Edgar?
Yeah. Because then the sheep farmer gets dragged down into the ground, and his hat is on top of his face.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
And they just assume it's a serial killer, and they want to get the fuck out of Dodge.
They pull the hat off of the ground, and boom, there's his face. And it's very effective to a young child. Even to me, I mean, it's effective right now because it's just a dead face staring out of the ground. And then, while they're, basically discovering all these killings, they're driving back and forth up and down the valley. And they keep passing construction in the road. There's these two guys who are jackhammering out part of the road. And if you know anything about Tremors, jackhammering is exactly the kind of thing that would bring them just running in, coming to get you.
Yeah, there's a couple gags that are just iconic to me in this movie. One is the jackhammer, where it punctures the graboid, and then it just pulls it
in your mind.
Pulls it along the concrete, and it's like, this is super powerful.
Yeah.
The other one is the pogo stick.
Yes.
That's a little more comic, where it just sits in place, gets sucked into the ground, and then spit out.
Yes. And it's part of the charm of this movie. It's watching a B movie do fantastic things with a low budget.
Right.
It's like...
Yeah, it gives you just enough because they're limited by budget, but also it's the right choice not to show the monster. Plus, it's underground, so that's the whole point.
Exactly.
Like, it's the same thing with Jaws. Like, you don't see Jaws for, 99% of the movie.
It's the implication.
And really, it makes sense because I think they were planning on showing it more, but they had problems with the
graboids,
the monster. I'm talking about Jaws. They had a problem with the shark.
Sure.
Animatronics looking too fake, which so they were limited on how much they could show it. But really, if you think about it, like, you can't really show it at all because to the experience of the characters, the shark is just under the water all the time.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Yeah, it's a good choice. It's the right choice, and it costs next to nothing to do.
Right.
It costs an hour of man labor to dig a hole.
Yeah, it's interesting. Like, it feels low budget, but when it uses its budget, it uses it very effectively. So stuff like they basically move whole houses up and down to communicate that the graboids are digging underneath and stuff. So there's definitely like lots of effects being used. And then they do show the monster like full on several times. And when they do, it's effective, and it still holds up pretty well. I mean, it's obviously like, it looks like a monster, but it's still cool. Like the gooiness and the little snakes coming out of its mouth. It still works.
It still works, and they obviously took what worked. They learned from a lot of previous movies. Obviously, Jaws, Evil Dead. There's plenty of scenes of graboid cam, basically, right? So worm cam is
very, very close to the dead Evil Dead cam.
Yeah, the screaming deadite cam that. But in this case, it's it's a camera that just moves along the soil. It's just a real low shot with dust popping up, and so it's like, oh, that's cool, and it insinuates incredible danger. So yeah, lots of cool usage of effects. And so the guy with the jackhammer gets tangled up in the jackhammer hydraulic little line there and gets pulled off, and they both get eaten. And in the process of them getting eaten, the graboid that eats them knocks all these rocks over. So now the valley is effectively closed for car transportation. There's all these rocks on the road. It's impossible to traverse.
There's
with
one
a car.
way in, one way out.
One way in, one way out. Yes, exactly. And so, so it sets up the rest of this movie. We got to escape Paradise Valley. One thing that I kind of, it's not anything in particular. I just like to mention that this movie the movie itself is front loaded with scares or tension. Mm-hmm. It keeps, like you mentioned before, it keeps stepping up the tension. And then once it's at a certain point, it's just all action after that. So it kind of transforms into an action movie towards
because it's setting it up as this is a real and present danger, and it's unstoppable. And then once it gets to the point where are we calling them tremors or are we calling them graboids? I think graboids is
it's either way.
Once they get to the actual town proper, then everyone's in danger, and it's a matter of getting out of that situation.
Yeah. And then the most effective part of this movie to me is the old couple working on their house. I believe it's the doctor.
Yeah, it's the doctor.
The doctor and his wife are like sharing a glass of wine in the backseat of their station wagon after a hard day of working on their house. They're trying to get their house built in Paradise Valley, and they got the radio on, and the radio disappears. And
the generator disappears.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm thinking the radio is from 2. The generator disappears, and he goes to find it, and he gets sucked down into the ground.
Yeah, and this is like
screaming, and
this is the most horrific part of the movie because he's like,
as a little boy, man.
Because the previous deaths, it's pretty much they happen off screen or it happens very fast.
They're
like
alluded to.
They're sucked down.
Yeah.
This one was like
slow.
His wife is watching him slowly getting torn down into the ground, and he's obviously in horrific pain, like scrabbling and like clawing at the ground as he's getting taken into it.
Yeah, it's very effective, especially. Well, it's effective on any level, really.
Yeah.
And then my favorite part of that whole thing is when she runs. She gets into the perceived safety of the station wagon, and it hollows out the ground underneath the back of the station wagon, and the station wagon starts falling down into the ground, and eventually the station wagon is vertical with its headlights pointing towards the sky, and it just has this faraway shot of these headlights going up, vertical into the sky, and that sticks with me to this day.
Yeah.
So then we kind of cut back to the town, and I'd just like to say that the little annoying, shitty kid, Melvin, he reminds me so much of the brother from Wonder Years, like the older brother from Wonder Years.
Yeah, a little bit.
Every time I'm like, oh, that's the brother from Wonder Years, and then I'm like, no, there's something off with the nose. It's very close. It's like the 80s, 90s version of a bully or like a little. Yeah, kind of a jerk. Anyway, they eventually kill the first tremor by basically running away from it and jumping over a concrete partition in the ground. It's like a waterway or something like that that's dry, and it runs into the wall at high speed and it dies. And Kevin Bacon famously says, "I found the ass end of it." And as he's digging it out, and that's the first time we get a full view of a graboid, and it's a big, huge worm that has these spikes all over it that it uses to dig through the earth really fast, and it's got like this big beak in front that it all makes sense in terms of how it would work. Kind of,
not really, but they
agree to disagree.
They explain it in the movie, so that then it obviously works. Yeah. Look, it's got these little fins on it, and it moves real quick.
Yeah.
It's got these fins all over its body, also known as like every 3 feet So that's why it can move so fast under the ground. It's like, does that work?
You can tell it's a graboid because of the way it is.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, everything's it's movie logic. They tell you that it works, so it does.
Right. And at this point we know what we're working with, right? So they have an idea of what they're up against. And then they get stranded on the rocks, which is another
that's an iconic scene.
Completely iconic scene where they learn that, it can't dig through the rocks. We're safe on the rocks. How do we get back to her little Chevy S10? Mm-hmm. And the answer they come up with is pole vaulting. Yeah. And then they pole vault all in sync across the rocks. You get to see the outline of them and the horizon jumping across the rocks. And I remember thinking as a little kid, that's so cool. I have to try that.
Yeah.
It just sparked up my imagination as a little kid. So, good nostalgia feels on that. And then, like we were saying, lots of great low budget effects, boards with dust on them being popped out of the way, and people disappearing into holes, things disappearing into holes, getting dragged down. This is the second time I mentioned this before. This is the second time in a month that I've watched this movie, and I'm okay with that. Like, the second viewing was just as good as the first, maybe a little bit better because I was kind of getting amped on it. So, Bert at this point, Bert and his wife Reba McEntire or Heather make their way back to their house, and they're alerted that over the CB radio that the things they're underground. But at that moment he's in his rec room.
Which is in the basement.
Right, which is in the basement. And, of course, what do you do in your rec room? You sort bullets. You sift them with a little machine that goes...
Yeah, what is that thing? Do you know what that is?
Yeah, it's a bullet, like a bullet sifter.
But it had, dust and... It had, pebbles and stuff in it or something.
Now, I'm not the smartest man, and I don't know everything about this, but I think it's a casings. It's a thing intended to clean casings, right? Okay. So if you go out on the range, that dirt range, and you fire a bunch of bullets, and I may be way off, so please, if there's any gun enthusiasts out there, please let me know. But the casings are often brass, and they're often able to be reused, right? But they do have to be cleaned first. And the way you do that is you put them in a sand mixture, and then you jiggle that sand mixture so that there's a lot of vibration.
It abrades it.
It abrades the brass, cleans it all off, gets it ready for you to pack a bullet in there. I don't know. A magazine or a clip. I don't know. So he's down there. They got this little vibration machine going, and oh man, this is one of the best parts of the movie where a graboid blasts through their wall in their basement.
Yeah.
And attacks them. But fortunately, they just happen to be in his rec room, which has...
Yeah, this is great. This is great filmmaking because it bursts through the wall, and they have two giant assault rifles at hand.
Yeah, already on their persons.
So they start firing at it. So I start firing.
So I start shooting.
And they empty their magazines and...
Clips,
magazines. And then they're like, oh no, we run out of ammo. And then it pans over to a wall completely covered in assault rifles and shotguns.
Yeah, it's like the back wall of a gun shop.
It is so effective, and it's comedically perfect. I mean, it's not like
machine guns.
Yeah. And so they go to this wall and just start taking stuff off, like they're in the garage taking a shovel and unloading on this monster, and it's having no effect whatsoever.
They get a flare gun, fire a flare into its mouth, and it's just big and impressive, and it grabs Bert by the leg, and it starts pulling him in, and then Reba comes in with a big fucking sawed-off shotgun and blasts its little arm off. And it's fabulous. And
then it caps it off with...
Hang on. I got it.
Okay.
It caps it off with, they kill it, and then Bert yells this.
Broke into the wrong goddamn rec room, didn't you, you bastard?
Well, it's and how they get rid of it is the best part. He goes and there's this singular cabinet next to the wall that's like a glass case where this is the shit, and it's an elephant gun.
It's huge. It dwarfs all the other guns. It's like the moment in Predator when he whips out the minigun, where Ventura whips out the minigun. It's like,
so like the bullets in an elephant gun are about the size of a decently sized dick at half chub.
Yeah, that's a good way to say it. I was going to say Andre the Giant's thumb.
Right.
Yeah.
And it...
because Andre the Giant.
Cream of the crop.
Cream of the crop.
And, he unloads a elephant gun into it, and that's what kills it.
Yeah. It's fabulous.
And then they find out that...
Can't get penetration even with an elephant gun.
Yeah. It's useless if it's actually underground.
Yeah. So there's lots of... Following that, they figured out that you can't... Another great thing about this movie, they never dispatch a graboid the same way twice.
Yeah.
Every single one is done a different, unique, fun, interesting way.
But, yeah, the two that are similar, it's more of the first one was setting up the second one. Mm-hmm. Which is...
first kill.
The first kill was they run it, and the graboid runs into like the concrete wall of this drainage ditch. Right. And it kills itself.
Setting up the premise that you can get these things to chase you just about anywhere.
Yeah. And then the last kill is they're running towards a cliff and then jump out of the way, and the graboid jumps out of the cliff. And also they set up that it runs away from explosions.
Right.
So everything, man, we got to take a second and talk about like all the setups and payoffs in this movie.
Go for it.
So the first one that's notable to me is the Pepsi machine in the general store.
Oh, wow. There's this moment. I didn't even think about that.
There's this moment where it's early on in the movie and they're just talking in the general store, and then this Pepsi machine goes off and goes, blah, 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 blah. It almost sounds like the generator for Drain Addict. So it's this loud machine, and everyone just kind of looks over at it for like a moment. Yeah. And then it's let go. Yeah. Like it's literally a moment, and it could be there to be like, this is a shitty store. This is an old store with outdated equipment.
To provide ambiance.
So it still works. Right. Even there, but you're still like, maybe that
lingered a little too long on that shifty Pepsi machine.
Maybe that is important. And then later, when they're trying to not make noise
in the general store
to attract the graboids, that's when the Pepsi machine kicks on.
And they got to run over and turn it off. Oh, turn it off.
And then the little girl on the pogo stick shows her before, like, counting, and she's got, like, headphones on.
How many up to?
So she can't hear them. It's like this perfect setup to where later she doesn't realize what's going on, and she's on the pogo stick while everyone's trying to stay off the ground. And the first kill and the last kill, like, there's so many of those moments that it just sets up a theme, or it sets up a concept.
It doesn't smash you in the face with it. It just sets it up and then tees it up and then executes.
Yeah, delivers.
Yeah, it's a beautiful machine if you appreciate the art of filmmaking.
And it all works, and it all uses the characters to pull it off.
Yep.
That everyone has their place and purpose. There's a few characters that are just like, well, they're just fodder.
Yeah.
The guy that gets sucked down the tire.
He's
the least notable character.
He's the one I think of as soon as you said that. Yeah. You're like, there are people who are just fodder, and that's him.
Yeah. And the farmer with the sheep.
Yeah, the farmer with the sheep.
But everyone that sticks around till the end, like, they have good character development
and a real reason to be there. Even the construction workers, real reason. Now the town is blocked off, and we have to get this 30-ton bulldozer to pull this gigantic trailer so that we can all get out of here together.
Right.
And they take that dozer with the trailer up the hill to Bert's house so that Bert and Reba, or Heather, can jump on. And all that time between them finding the tractor or the bulldozer and driving it up to his house, Bert and Reba have been making bombs. They've been making like pipe bombs out of the excess pipes,
sticking out of their roofs.
Drain pipes, drain pipes that's sticking out of the top of their roofs.
Block
drain. And so now they have a way. They have a method to fight these things, because what do we know about them? They can hear really well, specifically through the ground, and through rocks, and through, basically they can hear really well. And so what is too loud for them? Well, bombs. And potentially, what could you get them to swallow? So I'm constantly asking that question.
Jesus.
So then, as they stop to
Here,
get...
I think I have a sound clip for that. Oh, wait.
That's so nasty.
Doctor, here's the list you requested.
Dingleberry itinerary. Yeah, put that on my desk.
Dingleberry itinerary. That's from Kuso. Oh, man, I can't believe... That's been a million years since I've heard that drop.
Yeah.
Dingleberry itinerary.
I like to see the arms.
We do like to see the arms. But graboids don't have any arms. What, are you looking for something else?
I was trying to find something else.
Well, if you find it, let me know. So they start making their way out of town on the dozer, and the dozer has the big trailer hooked up to the back of it so that they can fit everybody in the town. And they have bombs, and they start going graboid fishing. So once they get stuck on an outcropping of rocks, they start going graboid fishing. So they tie these bombs to a rope, and then they throw the bomb as far out as they can, and then they drag it back, creating a luring kind of fishing lure for the graboids. And one of them takes it, and it explodes because it eats a live bomb.
What's the last episode that Aaron was on?
Boy, you got me. I don't.
So it was Ready or Not, and then there was one more.
Was there? I think it was just Ready or Not. I don't know.
Okay, sorry.
So there's basically the last graboid is like the smart one, right? So he's Stumpy. He's the one who grabbed the axle of their truck early on in the movie, and they couldn't get traction, and then finally they got traction and they got away from it, but they ripped its arm, its little worm arm off. Well, that's the final graboid. That's the one that's eluded them the whole time. And
yeah.
Did you find the clip? Is that what you're...
Yeah, I just want... This is unnecessary, but this is in my head, and I have to get it out.
Okay. We got to do another horror porno.
Yeah.
We really do. It's going to take some setup.
We could do a drain addictor porno.
Oh, I've thought of that before. I've had that exact same thought. So yeah, we should do drain addictor.
As we move away from horror movies on this podcast,
right,
to exclusively spraying shit with pressurized water.
Exactly. So yeah, as they're going graboid fishing, they get one going graboid fishing, but then Stumpy comes along.
Yeah,
and he takes the bait, and then he rockets the bomb back at them, and
it lands on the bag full of bombs like all the ammo.
What a smart worm!
What
Stumpy
a great!
Is.
It's great because it just that is their security. You're like, well, yeah, they've got a giant duffel bag full.
How could they lose?
Yeah. So.
Yeah, and so this forces, as the bomb comes in, they all realize it and have to run away. They have to get off the safety of the rocks. Set up, and then they run back to the rocks. But Kevin Bacon,
I love how the bomb lands on the bag of bombs and blows it up, and everyone runs away from it. And I love how they're instantly like 200 yards away from the rock. It's not like they're 5 feet away hiding behind like one of the rocks. It's like literally they're like 50 yards away.
They've run several 100-meter dashes, and they're like, it's like, oh, how'd I get here? So at this point, Kevin Bacon I got an idea, and he goes running as fast as he can towards the cliff because a stampede, like they said at the start of the movie. He runs toward the cliff, and the graboid rockets out of the ground and out of this giant cliff, and it falls to its death on the rocks below, and it dies, and it ties it up in yet another perfect, like, going back to the beginning of the movie. You know, when Val woke up Earl said, "Oh, I thought it was a stampede," and you know, Val's like, "Well, I just thought, you know, stampede to get you stampede him off the cliff." So it's this. So final recommendations. Who would like this? This is the most crowd-friendly movie I think that we've ever reviewed, even more so than Gremlins. Tremors is a very light fare action thriller that goes easy on the cussing and sexual themes in favor of, you know, the good old-fashioned terror and violence that the whole family can enjoy.
We missed one moment in this film that we got to talk about, is that when Finn, is that the geologist?
Yeah, well, yeah.
Finn Carter? Who's the girl? The main girl. Sorry, Rhonda
LeBeck.
Rhonda LeBeck. I always get the actors in the... Anyways. Yeah, so Rhonda LeBeck, the moment where Rhonda, the main woman in the movie, gets grabbed by the graboid and starts getting dragged off, and her legs are caught up in some barbed wire.
Yeah.
And it's dragging the barbed wire, and she's going along with it. And then Kevin Bacon solves this problem by getting her out of her pants.
Yeah.
And this was another formative moment in young Bryce's life.
Oh, so, really?
Like, I think I like that.
I think I felt my wiener move.
Yeah.
Huh. That's a weird
That's just
thing.
One of those moments of like,
Yeah. Look at that girl with her pants off.
Yeah.
I wonder if that'll ever happen again.
There's also
in my life.
There's also a G.I. Joe episode where, oh man, I can't remember the character's name, but it's like the G.I. Joe woman with the short hair, and there's an episode where they turn into kids, and like they can't fit in their clothes, and so like they're running around like their pants are behind because they don't fit anymore, and they're just running around in like baggy shirts, and then they turn back into adults, and she's like pulling down the shirt to cover her lady bits. I'm like, I like this.
Really?
Yeah. Like
pretty thick.
I just wanted to go. Anyways, yeah. That's just a non sequitur, but it's a similar thing to seeing Rhonda in just her white panties. Like, that's interesting.
What are your final recommendations for this?
Yeah, absolutely. This for absolutely everyone.
Yeah.
This is probably the most accessible horror movie that people can watch, even more accessible than Jaws. Jaws is much more disturbing than this.
Oh my God.
And Gremlins is much more disturbing than this. This is like... But you can't say it's tame.
This is a step above Hocus Pocus, but a step below Gremlins.
Right.
Yeah.
Perfect.
That is all very fair. Let's see here. I'm trying to find. So with that, let's get into our new game, and maybe a one-episode game, the Baconator. So the Baconator game is a pretty simple game. It's just basically a different rebranded way of saying we're going to play the Kevin Bacon 6 Degrees of Kevin Bacon game. The way this game works is you want the lowest score possible. You want a score of 0.
Okay.
And so that means you have to guess how far away these actors, actresses, or pop culture individuals are from Kevin Bacon in movies,
Okay.
right? So how many degrees of separation? So, if you are, if you're Kevin Bacon, you're 0 degrees of separation away from Kevin Bacon. But if you're Fred Ward, who played Earl, then you're 1 degree of separation away from Kevin because you were in Tremors.
So 0 is impossible.
No, because you gain points by being further away from. So if I said Fred Ward, who played Earl, and you guessed 1 degree of separation,
right,
you get no points.
Oh, so okay.
But if you guessed 2, then you'd be 1 point away, and you get 1 point.
Okay.
So and that would suck for you.
Okay. This is needlessly complicated, but I'm on board.
Well, that's the way the game works. Have you fucking played this 30-year-old game? I mean, is golf complicated, Bryce? I mean,
all
what's
right,
hard to understand?
Let's play the game.
What's hard to understand?
All right,
about
I'm sorry
birdie?
I offended you.
What's hard to understand?
I'm sorry that I criticize your game.
What's hard to understand about birdie?
Let's play the game.
And eagle.
Okay.
What's unclear about that?
Okay.
You're missing the joke in what I'm saying, further proving my point that you're very dumb. So, Kevin Bacon, or the Bacon.
Fuck your game. I'm not going to play this fucking game.
So, the first matchup is going to be Kevin Bacon versus, or how many degrees of separation are there between Kevin Bacon and Madonna, who's she's a little singer who sung some things.
That would be 2.
Ding, 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 ding. You're absolutely correct. How did you reach that?
Because Madonna was in a movie with Sean Penn, and Sean Penn was in Mystic River with Kevin Bacon.
There are a lot of 2-level connections for Madonna and Kevin Bacon. The exact route that I took was Madonna was in Body of Evidence with Julianne Moore, who's another smoking hot hottie, who was in Crazy Stupid Love with Kevin Bacon. So, you're absolutely right. You have 0 points. Our next matchup is going to be Kevin Bacon versus our favorite, a man who we interviewed just a couple episodes ago, who you might have heard of him, Robert Englund, a little guy who played Freddy fucking Krueger. So how many degrees of separation are there between Robert Englund and Kevin Bacon? The Kruganator, the Baconator.
I know there's one with 3, but I wouldn't be surprised if it's 2, but I'm going to say 3.
Oh, I'm sorry, Bryce. That's actually incorrect. The correct answer on this one is also 2. Yeah, so Robert Englund was in A Nightmare on Elm Street 4, The Dream Master, with Tuesday Night, who was in Telling Lies in America with Kevin Bacon.
Okay.
Tuesday Night spelled with a K-N-I-G-H-T.
Okay.
Okay, so now you have 1 point. Still doing pretty fucking good. So now we have a horror movie talk icon, H.G. Wells versus Orson Welles. I'm sorry, H.G. Wells. I was like Time Machine.
So maybe I can. Do I not have it on here? Jesus, I'm not set up. I'll just do it. The French.
Wow. Well, we don't even need the drop.
We don't even need the drop.
That was fucking
We got
great.
it here.
So
there's a California champagne made by Paul Masson.
So how far removed is Orson Welles from Kevin Bacon?
Orson Welles from Kevin Bacon.
Yee.
That's a dilly of a pickle.
Is it?
That's like a completely different generation. Orson Welles died in the 70s, I think?
I think the late 70s, yeah.
Okay. Fuck, I don't know who was in a movie with Orson Welles. I'm going to say 4.
I'm sorry, you just gained 2 more points. His Bacon number is 2. So, wow. Yeah, right? Orson Welles was in the Muppet movie with Bruce Kirby, who was in The Big Picture with Kevin Bacon.
Who the hell's Bruce Kirby?
I don't know, but he was in the Muppet movie, and he was also in The Big Picture.
All right. So the answer for all of these is 2. Unless it's like...
You have 3 points.
Clark Gable or something.
Clark Gable. You have 3 points. So now... Actually, this brings us to an interesting point, which is there are people who are better for this game now than Kevin Bacon.
Samuel L. Jackson would be a big contender for that.
That's the number one. That's the best. He is because he's so ubiquitous. He's been in every fucking thing.
Yeah. And there's only like
C movies.
There's only like 3 black actors in the world, so and he's one of them. And he gets the most work.
There's probably more than that, but he definitely gets more work than anybody else.
Yeah.
He takes everything.
Like honestly, throughout the last like 3 decades of film, if there's
it's impossible to find
a main character that's black, it's going to be a strong probability that it's Samuel L. Jackson or Morgan Freeman or
Samuel L. Jackson.
End of list.
Is basically the Samuel L. Jackson is basically the epicenter of the universe in terms of this game.
I love Samuel L. Jackson.
How could you not?
There's no way not to love Samuel L. Jackson.
You gotta love him.
Yeah.
So our next matchup, our second to last matchup,
Samuel L. Jackson
is Kevin Bacon and Elijah Wood.
I mean, I would not be surprised if this is 1. There's got to be a movie that they'd be in together. I'm just going to say 1.
Ding, 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 ding. You're absolutely correct. You score no points, which is great. You still have 3 points.
What movie was it?
Yeah, Elijah Wood was in Beyond All Boundaries with Kevin Bacon.
Okay.
So
never heard of it?
Neither have I. And finally, we have one of my favorite actors who I named my first daughter after, Charlie Day and Kevin Bacon. Charlie Day from Always Sunny in Philadelphia.
Oh.
Whoa, we got cats in the walls. So how far removed is Charlie Day from Kevin Bacon?
Are you tired of your cats making too much noise all the time?
Do your cats make too much noise all the time?
Charlie Day and Kevin Bacon. Oh, man, this is... Trying to think of the movies that Charlie Day has been in.
Not many. Maybe like
there's Angry...
7.
There's what is it? Something Bosses.
Yeah.
And... End of list. There's like one other movie that he's in.
I'll give you a hint. There's also Going the Distance. He was in Going the Distance.
What's that movie?
I don't know.
Who was in that movie?
I don't know. I can't tell you.
I'll say
someone you know was in Going the Distance besides Charlie Day.
I'll say 2.
Ding, ding, ding. Bryce, you came away with a fucking phenomenal score of like 3.
Yeah.
This whole game. That's absolutely correct. Charlie Day was in Going the Distance with Justin Long from Tusk, who was in Beyond All Boundaries again with Kevin Bacon.
All right.
And I believe Beyond All Boundaries was also the one that Elijah Wood was in. So... Good job. Way to go. I'd say you won the Kevin Bacon game.
I won against myself.
Yeah, great job. So with that, let's get into It Came from Social Media.
Yes, it came
from social media.
To fill the world with terror, to bring you unforgettable suspense. What was it? Where did it come from? Who were the all-powerful creatures it brought
from social media?
And what did they want on Earth?
It came from social media as a little game that we play where we talk about things that people did or talked to us about over the last week or two. In this case, it's been 2 weeks since we've actually recorded an episode. Last week's episode was Henry, Portrait of a Serial Killer, and it's a spectacular episode in my opinion.
Yeah.
If you haven't listened to it or watched the movie, it's rough. It's a rough watch, but also worth it.
That's definitely one of the episodes where I think a lot of people may have heard of it, but they don't really know much about it.
They don't understand how influential it was.
But yeah, that's definitely a movie that you should see once.
In my opinion, as disturbing, more disturbing than Texas Chainsaw Massacre. One of the most disturbing movies I've ever seen.
Yeah, I talked about it as, a lot of people, their favorite subgenre is slashers because when I talk to them, I'm like, I don't get it. Like, it's just...
Why do you like this so much?
Just people getting chased after with knives and stuff. And they're like, well, it's because it could really happen.
Yeah, this is a thing that occasionally does happen.
Yeah. And I'm like, okay. I mean, yes, there are killers, but they're not like supernatural monsters that will jump out of a wall and relentlessly pursue you.
Yeah.
But Henry is about like an actual psychopath.
Henry Lee Lucas.
That has figured out how to kill a lot of people and get away with it.
Yeah, basically the formula for killing people.
Yeah.
He admitted to something like 600 murders or something like that, which turned out to be
probably not true,
kind of not true, but also, also probably pretty accurate. Like, maybe not the ones he confessed to, but he was like, I don't know how many weeks are there between 1976 and 1982. Oh, right. 600? Yeah. I mean, I killed about a person a week. So
yeah. So I'm going to officially apologize in advance. It's been a couple weeks since we've done social media. It came from social media, so we're going to miss some comments and stuff.
Yeah, for sure. Well, I mean, we talked to a lot of people, but this Henry, Portrait of a Serial Killer talk segues nicely into a discussion that we had with Jared Jack over Facebook, I believe. He said, I met Michael Rooker and Tom Towles those are the two actors from Henry, at Frightmare. At Frightmare Weekend years ago. Both of them were extremely friendly, which felt so bizarre considering the characters they played. It really showed how great they both did in the film. Yeah, Michael Rooker is, if that name doesn't ring a bell right off the bat, he's the guy who played Yondu in the Guardians of the Galaxy 2, or was it 1 as well? I think it was just 2. The blue guy who had the little arrow that would fly around.
No, it's in both.
Oh, it's in both.
Yeah.
Jared Jack continues. He says, I asked him for pictures, and he sent us a bunch of great pictures of him and his wife with, I believe it was his wife. Apologies if that's your girlfriend, but it should be your wife. Life partner. He sent me a bunch of pictures, and he says the ones with the red, white, and blue background were from when his wife and I met Rooker at the Dallas Fan Expo. The other two are from Texas Frightmare Weekend. Thanks for those pictures, man. That's super cool, and man, it kind of makes me want to go to these Fan Expo things, but kind of not really. Also, I don't know.
Well, I went to the Portland Horror Film Festival this last
That's right.
week.
Yeah, tell us about that. How'd that go?
We haven't. It was virtual, so it was all streaming, and so I think part of the draw and what would really interest me in going to these places is you get to see other people, and kind of network and mingle. And that was kind of taken out of it, so it kind of sucks. But you're able to stream the movies, and they had like Q&As with the directors and cast of the films that they showed in the shorts. So in that sense, it was good. I think we've gone on the record as not being huge fans of independent, horror or
low budget.
Yeah, like self-made stuff. And, it's to be expected that it's not going to be as high quality or as vetted as, some of these other movies. There's like a theme in in independent horror movies of lots of like cutaway mood shots,
Yeah.
and lots of like, empty moments that this is.
It implies deepness, but really it's just filler.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But I think the features that they showed, I didn't watch a lot of the shorts, but the features that they showed, it went from like, no thanks, to actually pretty good.
Yeah.
Like, my favorite one that they showed, and we're very likely going to interview the director and writer of this one, is a remake of The Brain That Wouldn't Die.
Which you all may remember from
Mystery
Science Theater 3000.
As the one with the lady's head on the table.
On the
with like the
platter.
Anyways, that one was great. Like, that one was like really funny and tonally
really got it.
Really nice. And then the ones leading up to it were pretty good. There was the I can't remember all the titles, but there were several good ones. I think I would definitely recommend going to, Portland Horror Film Festival in the future next year.
The Brain That Wouldn't Die. Maybe we could review that in the future. This new Brain That Wouldn't Die. It's making its rounds on the festival circuit, and will probably be released sometime early next year or late this year.
Do you remember the last independent movie we reviewed?
I believe it was Spiral.
Yep.
Yeah. That was a hot piece of shit. Not shying away from saying that.
Yeah.
Shout out to Stephen M., who is always on our social media. He's always hitting us up. I love talking to him. He's as much a staple as Kitty, Magnus, and Jason. We love anyone who reaches out to us, and we love talking to you. If you're having a tough time, or if you're having a great time, or if you just want to talk about horror movies, we're down. Come talk to us on Facebook or Twitter or Instagram or whatever. We're happy to be here for you. We just want to, to make meaningful connections with you guys. Speaking of Magnus, he says, I'm glad you guys watched these movies. He's referring to Henry, Portrait of a Serial Killer, so I don't have to. I said, well, I hear, Bryce said, well, I hear that people like slasher movies because, to his point that he said earlier, it could really happen. Well, you can't get any more it could happen than Henry, Portrait of a Serial Killer. And Magnus says, well, I've never been murdered or killed. Have you? He says, that's silly talk. This is a movie. Killers don't really exist, guys. This is just classic Hollywood. I've never been murdered or killed. Have you? And
he follows it up with the real threat, however, is the threat of rats deformed and transformed by a nuclear holocaust, which is realistically depicted in the 1984 real-life movie.
Rats.
Yeah.
He's been pushing for us to review Rats.
Yeah.
Which I'm going to be honest, I don't know about that. I don't know if I really want to watch Rats. It sounds like Chud, but worse. Mm-hmm. Which is, Chud's not great. Daniel Lee B, says, about our stickers, these would make some tight-ass fridge magnets. I don't have room on my hard hat for a new sticker. So then I challenged him, well, we'll cover up something on your hard hat with our sticker. We deserve some of that real estate. And then he sent me a picture of his hard hat. And
I didn't see that.
He had a fucking Under Armour sticker on there. So I was like, he was trying to show me the front and center sticker, but my eye caught this Under Armour, like, just throwaway garbage sticker. And I was like, fuck that Under Armour sticker. That's some good real estate. Give us that. And lo and behold, Daniel Lee B, he came through hard, and he said he would order some stickers, and then he did. He ordered some stickers from us. So thank you, Daniel Lee. I'm going to get those in the mail just on Monday, along with everybody else's orders who I haven't shipped yet. And then he goes on to, we have a discussion about that he loved the American Psycho book by, I can't remember, is it Ellis? Something Ellis. Anyway, he loves the American Psycho book, and I had just finished it, so I said, I just finished that book, and it was fabulous. Not as great as the movie, but still wonderful. Same author, better book, in my opinion, is Less Than Zero. And he said some of the American Psycho book is hard to read, but I love how much more we get to see of Patrick's madness and wackiness. It's hilarious. Digging up baby crabs and eating sand, the urinal cake. It's all even better seeing it play out in your mind than with Bale. And I said, he said, I've watched but haven't read it. I have read The Rules of Attraction and Lunar Park from Ellis. I recommend both. Kill Your Friends by John Niven is a British-American Psycho knockoff, but it was entertaining enough. I always love a good book recommendation.
Yeah.
So, you just read The Exorcist.
Yeah. I gave that to you, dude. Is that on your list?
It is on my list, but my list is long, so I don't know.
The Exorcist is basically the movie. Like, there's a little bit of color that's included in the book, but honestly, there's a lot of the movie that's better than the book.
Yeah.
And it's written by the same author. The screenplay is written by the same guy that wrote the book.
Yeah.
So it's very close, but it was interesting reading it.
And, of course, I had some good talks with our new patron, Kylo Bren, a.k.a. Kylie Bean, about clogged drains, and she also made us a sweet Drake meme on Instagram, which is one of the very few posts we do on Instagram, but you can head on over to our Instagram and see the Drake meme that she made for us over there. And, of course, you can't forget about Elena B., who enjoyed the stickers that we sent her for becoming a patron on Patreon, and, of course, all the Drain Addict talk. If you guys sign up, I should mention, if you sign up to become a patron, I'll send you a few stickers in the mail along with a thank you card if you give me your address. So, just FYI, you can avoid having to purchase it on our shop if you just become a patron on Patreon.
Also, I just want to mention I had a long chat with Max last night on Instagram.
Oh, Max Allen.
Yeah, so
who created our intro song.
Yeah, our intro
beautiful
song. So, really appreciate him and the work that he does for the podcast, and we were chatting. He's going through some shit right now.
Oh, well, I hope he's doing well.
Yeah, we hope he's doing better.
Y'all should try and support him. He's on Instagram at, I think it's Max R. Allen, max.r.allen on Instagram.
I think it's Maxwell.
Oh, maybe it's Maxwell.r.allen. He changed it on us, which is unfair.
Yep. It's Maxwell.r.allen.
Cool.
And he's got an album on Spotify, or a new single on Spotify, so check him out.
Check him out. And with that, thank you very much for listening to Horror Movie Talk. We sure do appreciate you listening. And, if you would like to help us out, you can do it by simply sharing this with on social media, or with a friend who likes horror, or with a friend who doesn't like horror. If they just like to laugh, maybe we're accidentally funny enough to get them to do that. So make sure to rate us on Apple Podcasts, and, check out our shop. We would really appreciate it if you supported us in any way that you can afford to.
Yeah, there's lots of different ways to support us now.
Yeah, make sure to check out localasfuckapparel.com and enter HMT at checkout to receive 10% off any order you place. And with that, thank you so much, guys, and we'll see you next week. We love you. Bye-bye.
Keep it, bye-bye.
That's supposed to be a girl.
You will have long blonde hair, big green eyes, world-class breasts, ass that won't quit, and legs that go all the way up.